So we are recording this episode on November 4th, 2023. So everybody's going to remember that time as the wonderful post-remaster release discussions, or at least the discussions leading up to the remaster release. And so I'm sure that by the time this episode actually gets posted to YouTube, all the discussions about the revised / clarified death and dying rules will be resolved, because if there's one thing the PF2 community does, it's resolve internet discussions quickly and amicably.
I'm gonna put a bet on that.
Speaking of misunderstandings and misconceptions, I wanted to ask everybody, what is a misconception or misunderstanding that you have that you remember having or having to overcome at some point in your life that is, not necessarily big, but just particularly memorable?
Are we talking Pathfinder or life? Or like anything? Because I thought we were talking Pathfinder at first.
Anything.
Oh,
anything.
Darn it. Okay, I gotta think about this again.
My example is from outside Pathfinder.
Oh,
but
shoot.
Not outside geekdom. So.
Okay, I'm not going first.
Maybe you should lead then.
I was going to say kick it off.
Okay, I hate answering my own question first, but very well. So I remember being 5 years old and thinking that all the traffic lights in town were controlled by like a team of technicians who worked in like a very, very tall tower, so that they could see all the intersections in town and like flip a switch to say, oh, this light needs to be green, this light needs to be red. And I remember why I came to that conclusion is because there's an episode of the original Generation 1 Transformers that features this little electricity elemental, Crimzeek, who at one point in the episode like gets into the computers that control the traffic lights, and he scrambles them and they all turn green at the same time, and it causes all this havoc. But I remember thinking that was in that tower where all the people like flip the switches. But I remember being savvy enough to think, wait a minute, if there's a really tall tower where everybody can see the town, I should be able to see it, right? And I remember being in the car looking around, where is that tower? And I guess at some point I grew out of it and realized I don't think there's a tower because I've never actually seen it. So that's what I always think of when I think of a misconception.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I thought arugula and argula were two different salads, and I just never read it correctly. But when people talk, that's all I gotta say. That was a big shocker to me. It's like,
wait, is argula actually a word, or are you just talking about misreading the word arugula?
I think it's misreading the word arugula.
Okay. Because Googling for argula showing results for arugula. Huh.
Yeah. I just always misread it. This was in college when I figured out, by the way. So you learn a lot of things in college.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very rarely about education.
I just had to double check what arugula was, because there's a few things I'm like, I get it. It's rocket.
I was gonna go with Dex to athletics, finesse, Pathfinder 2e stuff, but that's a distant memory at this point.
I don't think. Do we have an arugula leshy yet? Because I feel like that needs to happen now.
I bet.
That might exist. I don't want to ruin my setup looking for it though. But if somebody finds it, I'll put it up.
It might be something that Orphan's done.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Crack open the book. I haven't seen it in a while. I'll give two. So my biggest Pathfinder misconception is that I thought summon spells were way, way worse than they were for the first 6 months, because I did not realize that they get actions on the first turn you summon them, because that's under the summon trait and not on the spell itself. And my funny real life misconception is when I was 8 or something. I was walking in the mall and Austin Powers had just come out, and there was a promo for Austin Powers, and it was him, and he was saying in captions or whatever, I don't bite hard. And I asked my dad, I said, "Is Austin Powers a vampire?" And he goes, "Yep." And then that was the end of that conversation. So for the next, 6 years, I thought Austin Powers was a vampire. I was like, cool, that's what those movies are about. Because I wasn't allowed to watch them.
So cool.
I mean, the movies don't say he's not a vampire.
It could work.
So
he dresses like a vampire, too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
all the way down. I was just like, yep, that tracks. Like,
I think I'm into
Hashtag
this
Austin
theory.
Vampire. That, I guess we know the title of this
Powers is
one.
a vampire.
By the way, speaking of summons and the remaster, the summon spells now have a summon trait, which I was very happy to see, because so often you would say when you cast a summon spell and there's not technically a definition for a summon spell.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is. Thank goodness.
Trait the heck out
And now
of
the
it.
summon spells aren't so long.
Yes.
That's how they're saving space. They're using traits.
Imagine that.
If only they used hyperlinks. Spoilers. Sorry.
Rules Lawyer has already complained about that, so that's something knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, did
They've
he put
gotten
out
good-
did he do any speaky podcasty yet, or just still on the
Sorry, Rules Lawyer has, Rule Lord has not yet.
Oh,
Is,
shoot.
yeah.
Gotcha.
They've gotten really good at putting page numbers in, though. That's good.
That's
Yeah.
good. Okay. I'm gonna do Pathfinder one because I'm having a hard time thinking of life one that I want to share here. Sorry, guys.
You're okay.
So this one we learned just in my game last week. Scrolls are not consumed when you learn them.
Oh.
Unless you feed them to your familiar.
Yeah,
we
unless
don't
you're
we
a
don't
witch.
we don't have a witch. We don't have a witch. We got a magus and a wizard in our party,
Yeah.
and that was blowing our mind because one of the rewards in Ruby is a high level scroll, and we're all dithering over this thing, and it's it is not consumed, so you also get the scroll, and we're like.
But that also means if you've got multiple casters who want to learn it.
Well,
you can
yeah,
learn it off of the
we
same
crib
scroll.
off of
That's
each
great.
other too, but yeah, and we're like, this just changed the cost, because now there is a cost to learning the spell as well, but we're like, well, maybe that's part of the reason there's a cost to learn the spell, because you don't expend the scroll. So my party is still arguing, and IGM and my husband GMs, and so we're trying to come up with a consistent answer for both parties on what we're gonna errata, because it's this is such a high cost to learn. It's but if you don't expend the scroll, and heck, if you don't need even a scroll, because it says you can technically talk to an expert,
Yeah.
maybe we should just keep the cost in place. So yeah, just last week we learned that scroll stays. Gosh.
Yeah, maybe you could do something you can expend the cost of the scroll to
Yeah, just make it just the same as it was before.
As the part of
as
or
learning it.
something.
I know. And I was so close to saying if you belong to an institution, you don't have to pay for the scroll anyways. And I'm wow, free! No cost to scroll, no learning cost. Whew.
Well, if you're
yeah.
a wizard as part of one of the new schools, I can see that.
Exactly. Well, I've got an Arcana Miriam person in my Edgewatch game, so I can see
That's
that.
cool.
You can learn, you can have whatever you want, dude. So last week we learned.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. In terms of Pathfinder misconception, we've been pretty good. I think we've been playing the death and dying rules the incorrect way, as it were. But also, yeah, and I'm not sure how we're going to continue with it, because I can think of several instances where we would have had a TPK if we were playing with the clarified rules. But one misconception that we are currently labouring with is the two GMs I play with, I think, have got a misconception about how often hero points should be given out, because they are stingy. And and I keep trying to say, it's more than one per session.
It's once per hour, and whenever you're awesome, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're
So,
very
I mean, the
helpful,
awesome
whoever
thing
brings
is-
the snacks, that could be a hero
that's true.
point.
It
It's
also mentions to tailor it to your game, whatever
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever works
Exactly.
out.
So
I
one per player per session, and that is it.
wow.
That is
I
Both GMs
I had a-
wasted
I had a group that I needed to encourage note taking in. And so I made it, you get your one at the beginning, but then you get one also right away at the beginning if you recap an important fact from last time.
Oh, I like that.
And so after we did that a couple times, like they started racing for the one everybody remembers. Well, speaking of hero points, I have refreshed everybody to 2. GOG, for some reason, had 3 at the end of last session, so I'm just going to let that sit there. I must have awarded one. I don't remember.
It was a
I
very
don't
meaningful
remember
moment.
either.
Very meaningful
I
moment.
can.
It was a meaningful moment.
Yes.
Okay, good.
You definitely got one for casting.
That's right. The surfing spell.
Yeah,
The
that
surfing
was
spell.
it. That was
Yeah.
it. Surf spell.
Thank you. Well, that was
Thank you.
Thank you.
That
But,
saved us.
Yes. Saved you from this undead water elemental that had apparently been trapped in some of the machinery here at Minneway Holdings, ? And we had some questions about that we wanted to investigate. So yeah, we're picking up right where we left off, where you can kind of investigate, look around. The water is no longer gushing out. You were able to help build enough barricades outside that it's been channeled directly to the river, so it is damp but no longer dangerous. What would everybody like to do?
Is there any? Can I further put the spirit to rest somehow, or is that necessary, or is it like, whatever?
You would kind of get the impression that it's all kind of at rest now.
Okay.
Basically, the way these undead elementals work is that they have this insatiable hunger for their natural element, and so part of the reason water was just gushing everywhere is that even though this was a water elemental, it was losing its own like elemental cohesion, and now the spirit has just been released. It no longer has that problem.
Okay. Okay. May I just search around?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm gonna // hopefully. You have some good modules. I need to ask you about these later.
Whilst Gog's doing that, I'm going to check on everyone's wounds, because that thing was no joke. Bomber's down half health. I don't know how everybody else was.
So I have moved you to the updated The Party folder that gives you this handy little the party screen. I don't know if everybody's seen this in the new edition of Foundry yet, but it basically gives you an overview of everybody's hit points, hero points, and what their highest skills are. So it's really, really neat.
Oh, I had not. No, today I learned. No, sorry.
I hope we don't have to make any performance checks.
Why are we looking at performance?
I don't think anybody has it.
No, I do. And it's not that
okay.
good, but that's the highest.
I'm
just saying because the party sheet, that's something you can see. I was just looking for the lowest.
Oh, okay.
That's a fun thing you can do now.
I accidentally just closed it and I can't find it.
Oh, if you go to the Actors tab, where it has your character sheets and everything, there's a folder called The Party that has this little sheet icon. If you hover over it, it's called Open Sheet.
It's totally alphabetical, isn't it? Darn it. So, I could get the whole party, except the Fire Wisp is ahead of GOG. Sorry, no GOG on screen, just Fire Wisp. Oh, man.
Fire Wisp is not here yet. It's very important.
No,
what would
what
would Artemis and Danya like to do?
It looks. Let's see if I can do anything that could.
Besides receive treat wounds.
I'm seeing if
I can cast Life Boost on.
Where are all the spells I cast? I guess I didn't cast any if I don't see them cast. Part of the update, I think, restored our spells by accident.
Oh, well.
Oops, I guess so. Oh, well, that's fine.
We will just continue on.
Yeah. Do people want another healing? Well, we can just tap on to restore ourselves.
I remember what I didn't have. If it matters, I can turn them off again.
That's probably the polite way to do it. Okay.
Mine is still up to date, strangely. I've expended some harm spells and stuff, so...
Did I just not cast that many spells? Okay, I just didn't cast that many spells. Okay, sure. I swore I cast more than this. Okay. Yeah, I can do if people want to just spend a few turns tapping around, I can set up another healing well.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We don't need to kind of spend too much time healing then as well.
Yeah.
Healing
Yeah, you
is
can.
wonderful.
If y'all spend enough time, you can just go back up to full hit points. You do not sense any other dangers tonight.
Thank you, Danya, for your positive vitality energies.
It's good to be able to channel, both sides of the energy sources. Be diverse.
Yes, indeed.
So
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so look, searching around here, there's no more danger. So I guess, is there a way to? Is the place still flooded?
It is damp, but it has all gotten channeled away, fortunately. Gog, while you are investigating, you're able to go and find the equipment that this water elemental had been living inside. It looks like a couple things happened. It looked like there was some sort of malfunction in the equipment, this enormous water pump. And that might be what caused the water elemental to die. But that doesn't really explain why, nothing in the malfunction explains why it was able to break free.
Can I use some sort of magical check, or does someone else here have read aura or something?
Crafting or Arcana would be appropriate.
Okay. I will go with one of
for taking our
those.
time, want me to trance before we start doing knowledge checks?
Oh, what's that? Go ahead.
If I get into my trance of secrets, we just get to some bonuses to, recall knowledges, not necessarily, I guess, arcanas and stuff.
Oh,
They
that's
are
what we're
not-
looking for.
Sorry.
Oh,
They
no.
are non-discomfiting whispers.
Oh, but yeah, would that help here?
Would you say that counts?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Do I have to?
She
click
has
something to get the
discomforting
bonus?
whispers.
What's that?
Danya has discomforting whispers.
Not mechanically, but
No.
very discomforting.
Oh yeah. Do we have to click something to get the bonus?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. I'm gonna. Yeah. Let me put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Oh, I
on.
get it now. Sorry.
We're not in combat or we're not in encounter mode, but it should still work. So.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You just came out of. Let's see. What are these categories for?
I'm only in minor right now, so.
Oh, that's your curse degree. Sorry, I saw moderate and extreme. I thought that was an encounter tracker.
No, sorry.
Okay,
No,
so
that's
we're in
all right.
minors, so that means we all get a +1 status bonus. Great.
Yeah, I'll just wander around you guys muttering. That's what Danya does anyways.
I will add that and roll.
I'll never get used to that.
I will try to learn what the plant speaks.
Mm-hmm.
I let their influence into my brain.
Is anyone else making an Arcana or crafting check?
Feeling good.
I'm no good at those, but I might go and speak to the workers whilst this is going on. Because we don't know how this thing got here, right? Or do we?
You had not learned that yet.
Get it.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, okay. So whilst we don't need to change focus, but that's what Bomber's going to do. He's going to go check on the workers and stuff.
Very good.
I'm no good at those checks.
You're doing quite well.
If there is a survival,
Gog,
I can go. You can look.
Is there a survival?
Is there a
Any
survival
tracks would have
angle?
been washed well away by
Yeah.
by the flood. Gog is very interested in the kind of the interior workings of this machine and what was life like for the elemental in here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it might have been held here against its will. But Artemis is more interested in the exterior and looking
Mm-hmm.
at, okay, here's how this pump fit together with everything else. Here's where the water came in. Here's where it got let out. And Artemis is actually able to find some signs of sabotage on the outside, that it looked like this thing was tampered with separate from the interior malfunction. So it looks like there were a couple things that went wrong here.
What were
And
those
then
creatures that we saw before, the evil fiends, what were they called?
the bat
Divs?
creatures flying around.
The
The
ones in
divs.
the divs. That's what they were.
Oh, yeah. You fought some divs at one of these places that was doing some sabotage. That was a little bit different because those divs were sent by the Cortos Consortium to, basically rough up a holdout factory. This plant, as far as you know, is on good terms with the Cortos Consortium.
Interesting.
And Bamba is going outside to get some information from the folks who are here on the midnight shift. Jamie, what questions is Bamba asking about?
Well, so he strides out, sopping wet, this tiny poppet, and he just says, "Fear not, we have defeated the most horrid creature that you could imagine, but you don't need to imagine it anymore because it is no longer a threat, thanks to us. Is everybody out here all right?"
They answered that they've taken a few bruises. They had to evacuate pretty quickly, but they're in all right shape. They seem to have escaped the worst of it.
All right, he gives a few high fives. Excellent, you're all doing excellent work. I wonder if any of you could tell me, how long has it been like this? Where did this thing come from? Do any of you know?
They would answer that they weren't around when it was installed. It was actually installed kind of in the middle of the night a while ago when no one was working here. It was a decision made by the boss. We were told not to worry about it, that there was going to be new equipment when we came in the next morning, and we were told, don't go digging into the equipment. It's proprietary.
I see. Do you know who... Sorry, say again. Do you know who installed it?
It was at the boss's order. Yeah, we weren't there. We were given the night off. We were told it'll be installed the next day.
And what's your boss's name? Where can I find them?
That would be Franklin Minneway. And you can find them. Let me look back up our district names here. That would be Franklin Minneway, who maintains an office just across the bridge in the front side of town.
I see. And when was the last time that they were on site?
Franklin comes in, every couple of days to do an inspection. It's usually pretty perfunctory. He was pretty excited about the new water pump. It seemed to be working like a dream, and then this happened.
I see. All right. I'll let the others know. Perhaps we should pay your boss a visit. Are they expected back anytime soon?
Like I said, he comes by every couple days, although I would imagine he'll be here soon once he gets word that there was an accident. But please, we didn't ask you to investigate, okay?
Oh, of course. When I see danger, when any of us see danger, we can't just watch idly and let it go unchecked. That is true strength right there. It's the action when action is needed. Do you want to come and see this thing, by the way? It's up to you, of course.
Look, we were told not. We were told not to go digging around in the new equipment, so if you don't mind, we're going to go home and dry off, and then hopefully we'll be back in time for our next shift.
Well, it's up to you. It's pretty cool, but I understand.
Cool down.
Okay, well, I'm going to head back in, and I'm going to let people know that something is suspicious about how this was installed, how and when.
As you do that, Bela Rumblecoin comes up and approaches you. She is one of your many, friendly contacts in town. She's been on the side of Axide since the beginning. She is a gnome. She is in charge of the nearby shipyards. That's just a few blocks down the road, kind of at the confluence in the rivers there. And she says, well, thank you all for the help tonight. Things were chaotic, but I know you stopped the source, and I trust you did your best to wrangle those waters and save the neighborhood. We had some issues in a barge coming in recently that delivered some of this equipment, and I knew those weren't just environmental dangers, but I didn't realize how bad this was going to end up being. And I can't imagine that this was an accident. This, as I understand, this equipment was installed rather carefully. It's state of the art. At least that's the rumors I've heard in town. This is not the only malfunction we've had lately, and not the only malfunction with new equipment that's just been installed without anybody really knowing much about it. I was working at the shipyard late one night when this water pump was installed, and I came by and asked Minneway about it, and I tried to peek inside just out of curiosity, but none of it looked ordinary by any stretch. And it seems to match up with all these other malfunctions that are happening over town. I look, it's late. Please go home, get some rest. You've definitely helped us out as much as you can, but I was wondering, given your success record, if I could prevail upon you to investigate what's going on with all of this magical machinery.
I think that's well within our station to do so.
Certainly like to know at this point.
Yes, of course. But where is this other equipment installed? If any of that is as dangerous as this, then we may have a real problem on our hands. People need to be warned, don't they?
Well, it's not like we have a list of it. It's more just things I've heard that I hadn't put together until I saw this disaster firsthand. So, for example, 2 barges coming down the deluge have tipped, spilling fresh lumber into the river. But it turns out that I heard a rumor yesterday that one of those barges might have been magically enchanted. There was some mining track running through the Stone Root district that just overnight just deteriorated, like it aged 100 years overnight.
That's not
what?
I'm not.
That's not normal. That's not normal.
Strange.
And then the wheel of the largest timber processing plant in the yard just came to a halt. The metal gears on it just seized up and welded themselves together, and we're having trouble piecing it all together, if it is even connected.
Give me some time. I will try to influence the metal in this area to stop doing this, or I'll consult the metal spirits in this area.
Influence the metal?
Well, I do have consult the spirits, and I also have influence nature, which I assume. Well, it says animals.
We'll consult.
Okay, maybe not influence nature, but maybe consult the spirits, see if I can learn anything about what is going on.
All right. Well, like I said, please take your time. This is important, not urgent tonight, but we do need some idea of what's going on here.
Okay.
Yes. I think consulting the spirits is an excellent idea. I think we should also consult the more sort of corporeal as well, in the form of this boss, Franklin Minneway. I think there are questions to be asked there.
So consult the spirits does take 10 minutes. If you want to do that tonight, you certainly can, or if you want to wait till tomorrow when you can actually act on the information, that's fine too.
I'll do it now, I guess.
Okay. So you're going to try to consult the metal spirits. I imagine you pick up some metal, filings from the debris here, and you're hoping to magnetically align it with something else in town.
I pick up some rusty material, and I crush it in my grasp, and flakes come out, and I come spirits.
So I imagine you're wanting to use nature for this, correct?
I think that's my thing for this.
Unless you've got Plane of Metal lore.
I do not.
I wouldn't think so.
I only have forest lore. Anyway, I think this is blinds. I'm gonna roll blind.
Yes, please. Yeah, it's interesting. They give consult the spirits the secret trait, which it involves recall knowledge, which already has the secret trait, so it's a secret.
Yeah, and they might give
double
a
secret
bonus
coverage.
because does the trance always go on? Is the trance always on?
Oh
For you
no,
and your
I got
I
that
don't-
for how long?
I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but trances work just like stances. You can't use them out of combat.
Oh!
But, you know, like
Sorry.
Okay.
a one-time thing.
One
you know, like, I
time,
didn't
yeah,
want to
it's
interrupt.
definitely not on,
Since-
but
Since we wrote
The-
the rule and people might hear it, that's
Thank
how
you,
it
Tony.
works.
That's
Sorry.
all right. I will go ahead and tell you the +1 does not alter your degree of success.
I didn't
so
think it was still on,
okay.
but trans.
This is very much a no harm, no foul
Stamps.
situation. All right, so let me consult my DCs here. All right, so you are in fact able to conjure forth some metal spirits. Those metal shavings you have kind of coalesced together, form this floating face that sort of, you can almost see the rest of the body, but it's kind of dissipating there. Let me look at the outcome here. Only you can perceive this spirit, though. So to everybody else, the metal is just just fallen onto the ground, and you're now talking to, some invisible creature, apparently.
Yeah.
So they answer. So it's interesting. It's a secret check, but you can obviously tell the difference in the outcomes.
Maybe
well,
you don't know how bad it is.
I mean,
it's sort of like, okay, I'll know after. I don't
Yeah,
know now
yeah,
if I
yeah,
have
yeah.
one or three questions.
That's true. So some metal spirits do reveal themselves to you. They seem eager to answer your question.
Okay. What is causing the metal incidents in this area?
Their answers are almost always a single word. Their knowledge is limited in the area of interest. Okay, so this technically has a range of 100 feet, but you are within range of the malfunction. So the single word they give you is Yundarun.
We know that.
Let me get you some spelling. They linger about
It's been a while, but we
and
know
seem to
that.
be interested in getting another question from you.
Oh. Okay, so, before I ask that, just to be clear, is this a name that's familiar to me? Sometimes I have a lot of doubts.
It's been a while,
Didn't we
right?
see?
We've
we see
heard that name.
Yeah,
Didn't
we've
we
heard
see
that.
them etched into some weird
The guy was
thing or
the
whatever?
Brian, tell me if I'm off base, but wasn't the guy like the gosh, words,
Where
the
Bomba was changed? Wasn't that word we saw?
Yeah.
It was
The
inscribed at the site where
proselytizing
Bomba was changed.
Yeah. The arsonist. Didn't
yeah,
they talk
thank
about
you.
them?
That was it. Yeah, the guy who was screaming at the
arsonist
beginning.
talked about-
The guy who was
That's right.
screaming
Yeah,
at the beginning.
The Doomsday soothsayer.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
they were saying
Wrote
Yundarun.
about Yundarun.
Where can we find Yundarun?
They give you two words.
Oh.
Not here. Since it is limited to within 100 feet of you. So he's not within 100 feet. That's comforting.
They're not. Yundarun is within all of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say a
Um,
heart.
uh,
The great Yundarun are the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, in that case, if it's only related to water pumps.
No, those train tracks. No, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Okay, gotcha. Yundarun and water pumps.
Single word. Okay. Area. Okay. What? Does anyone have any other ideas for a third question?
Yundarun. We asked where they.
We can ask. We can ask
How?
if this Franklin person is involved.
Oh, that's true.
Just because if he's not and it's a red herring, then we can potentially save
Well-
up some time.
Yeah. I mean, they might know that or not. Sure. So I'll ask if Franklin has somehow involved with Has Franklin somehow involved with Yundarun's magic? Franklin, what was their last name?
Minneway.
Yeah,
Minneway.
Franklin
Minneway
Are-
Holdings.
Are you wanting to ask this as a yes or no question?
How? Okay, well, I mean, if I ask it a question, is it gonna like error out if I like be like,
How are
how is-
Minneway and Yundarun involved? Because they could
Yeah,
say
and it's gonna
no.
be
If
like-
it's no, it's no. But we could say how, and they might give us more info.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they say how, yeah, it'll just error out, and then like, well, that's an answer in itself.
Yeah.
So you know, how is Franklin Minneway involved?
They give you 2 words. It does say it's almost always a single word, so I interpret that to mean 2 is acceptable.
Yeah.
And the words they give you just before they dissipate back into nothingness is prison free.
Prison tree or free?
Free, Free.
Prison.
Great.
So speaking of misconceptions, my 5-year-old asked me the other day, Daddy, is there a gluten too? I just stared. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you and Mommy eat gluten-free. Is there a gluten too?
And I'm
Oh.
hearing about normal gluten.
I said, no, buddy, we eat gluten-free, Free. Well, yeah, what about the gluten too? Like, no, oh goodness, I'm not enunciating well enough here.
Oh my god, I do
Okay.
joke about gluten full versus gluten free all the time though. So you could say gluten 100. There's a gluten 100 though.
Gluten 100, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Although
I
there's
will
now gluten removed that they say on beers, and it's like, what is that? Well, we took most of the gluten out. Like, that's not helpful.
Yeah. It's the difference between decaffeinated and caffeine-free.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Mhm.
All right. So your metal spirits dissipate. You've at least got some way to start with that. And since you've used it tonight, it's a once per day frequency. So you could do that tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow morning in a different area. I feel like I mean, if we come up with a more immediate solution, such as going to Franklin Minneway, we could do that first instead of trying in another area. But if
Yeah,
not, I can just keep on doing this, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of exploration mode, like investigation
Yeah.
is perfectly fine for the party to split and then meet back up. Like, I don't believe in saying, oh yeah, you need to spend the day investigating this and saying, aha, there's a secret encounter that now is sprung up on just one of you. So
Okay.
don't be afraid to go different ways the next day.
I'm gonna prepare a funny spell to give me a good reason to catch up with everyone. So
A funny spell.
don't worry.
Oh dear.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to do tonight before you go get your well-earned rest?
Did it, I mean, the flooding wasn't just in here. The flooding went outside, right?
Yes, you were able to help put up some barricades, and there's a little mini victory point subsystem. You got the maximum number of victory points, so nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt. Okay, so it didn't like flood far into the town or wash anything up or
No, there
no-
will be some there'll be some remediation to do, but it's not like Meravon has fallen over.
Let me be more clear. There's no interesting debris for Danya to comb through to, prepare for anything live for later.
I mean, that like some folks have had some of their personal belongings washed out of their houses, but that's probably not what.
That's not what I mean. Okay. We're good. We're done. Okay.
Unless I'm forgetting something from the adventure, please.
No. I'm trying to play my character. This is a character.
Yeah, no. So it's interesting. When we were drafting this adventure, Helen and I each outlined 2 chapters, and then I started like going in and fleshing them out. This was the one that Helen, I think, wrote the most of. So
I am playing a fated oracle in case I say something I'm not supposed to. So I will do the least investigation.
Which is perfectly fine.
And Danya's gonna just mutter a lot during this part. Sorry, guys.